Hey guys, it's Main here, back again with another video. Today I wanted to make a video kind of highlighting the Deathbringer class, the new update that came on Sunday, January 19. I'm actually recording it on that day as we speak. Anyways, you understand. I wanted to talk about the update and, all the fun stuff that came about it, what the class is, how to get it, as well as the other mechanics that came introduced with the update, and talking about all that fun stuff. So let's go head into it. Let me forget to turn that off. Let's go to World 6. So first of all, how do you unlock the new master class for Blood Berserker? Before we get any further, the master class that came out today was only for Blood Berserker. It is not for DK, Divine Knight, or any of the other classes. It is only for DK, for Blood Berserker. Blood Berserker turns into Deathbringer. It has the family bonus of kill per kill. It's okay. It's not that great, but it's something. You would come to World 6, Map 4, the was it Baby Trolls or something? Yeah, Baby Trolls. You talk to Masterius. He will give you a little quest to follow. I believe there is a requirement to meet. I think it's like levels or something. I personally am not sure. I was a pretty high enough level, so if that was a requirement, I don't know. So the quest he gives you is to kill 92 unique monsters. So what does that pertain to? It's all the monsters through the worlds, World 1 through World 6. So World 1, Map 1, World 6, Map 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through. Same thing for World 1. I do want to note specifically for World 1, there are some, I guess, more forgotten about monsters such as the red mushrooms or the Baba Yaga map, the poops, the rats, also the daily once spawnable monsters, the boops. They also count independently. Go ahead and kill them here. They will drop you some, they'll count as unique monsters, is what I'm saying. The walking stick, the nuttos, and the wood mushrooms as well are often forgot about, as is the Giga Frogs. I do want to note, especially if you have been around in Idleon for a while, you know that there are specific monsters you can Zao, Chow, and Super Chow independently from the monster itself. I'm talking about the nuttos in the roots, and obviously the regular nuttos. These do not count separately as unique monsters. They still count as nuttos, so you can't separately kill them for this quest line. Just FYI. Anyways, the crystal mobs for each of the worlds also count. So the crystal carrot, the crystal kerbal, the crystal cattle, the crystal custard, the crystal capybara, as well as the crystal lantern, candlelight, whatever it is. Those count separately as unique monsters. Some it's kind of we weren't expecting these to count, but the Colosseum chests count as unique monsters as well. World 1 through World 6, they count as 3 separate entities for each of the worlds, so you can get 18 unique mobs from each of the chests there. So the bronze, silver, and gold chest count separately. I do not recommend doing that for World 5 or World 6. Save your Colosseum tickets in that way. But I guess you can reason out doing World 1, 2, 3, 4 if you really are struggling. But for all intents and purposes, killing all the mobs and the crystal mobs and well, that's really it. It should get you to 92, assuming you can finish all of World 6, if you're at the end of World 6. If you're not at the end of World 6, you can consider the Colosseum. Do that. That's fine. But yeah, those how you can eke out some extra mobs. Additionally, the catching nodes count as monsters as well. So the little bug lantern that spawns, not the flies themselves, like me doing this does not count as killing, but like the actual killable thing pre-catching node is what counts separately as a killable monster. Of course, it's not going to spawn here, so I can't show you, but I hope you know what I'm talking about. But you can kill that, the thing that gives you like percent bonus, whatever, that counts as a monster that you can kill. Additionally, oh yeah, the bosses, they count kind of. Efont, I recommend killing him. The hands as a group count as 1, as does the boss count as 1, so you can get 2 from the bosses. But I think you can only get 2 bosses. I don't think you can get 5 or whatever it is. Yeah, for all the worlds, I think you can only get 2. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, once you do that, you'll hear your inner voice say, ah, yes, quest complete, go back to Masterius in World 6, whatever. And then you talk to him and he'll give you the class. That's basically it. This is a requirement. Really easy, not that bad. So let's talk about the class. Oh boy. All right. This mechanic, it introduces a skill called Wraith Form. Wraith Form is a toggle ability. So all it is, you just toggle here. it gives this little animation. And what it is it is a rebirth mechanic. Woohoo! Yay, rebirth. You see my HP here is really low. My defense, my stats, my crit chance, my crit damage, accuracy, all this stuff is really low. So it basically nerfs you. So why the hell would you want to do this? Well, the Grimoire is insanely powerful, which is the next skill. We'll talk about the talent levels of this, so there's a reasoning behind all this stuff. But that's basically what Wraith form does. You go in, you go out. If you're out of Wraith form, you're basically just Blood Berserker. That's it. And then the Grimoire is the actual ability to how you become powerful in Wraith form. So let's go back to World 1 Green Mush, and so I don't die talking about Wraith form. So Wraith form, you can see I'm not hitting like super quadrillions of damage anymore as I would be outside of Wraith form. I'm heavily nerfed, and that's strictly as a result of just me becoming a Deathbringer. The Grimoire is what you open here, and this is the main stat page for the Deathbringer. So you see I have stats here at the top left. This is what the class is. It's like rebirth mechanic, it seems like. And you would kill monsters, and when you're in Wraith form, they add a drop called Bones. There's 4 different bone types. For all intents and purposes, you're only going to see the first and second bones for a while. The third and fourth bones will come in later, which I haven't even unlocked yet. We're that early in the mechanic right now. But killing monsters itself while in Wraith form do not necessarily drop that many bones. The best way to do it is with the Gravestone, which is this ability right here, Graveyard Shift. This is a respawn mechanic for the Deathbringer. Finally, Blood Berserker is able to use a respawn mechanic. Basically, it drops this Gravestone. It spawns special monsters called Hordes. They are indicated by this little icon above their head. There are regular mushrooms here without the icon. These mushrooms have the icon right here. So what's special about the Horde? Well, let's talk about it. Just a second, I can show you. So number 1 is that explosion. We'll talk about that in a second. But you see this number above the Gravestone. This keeps counting up until it runs out of cooldown, then it resets back to 0 when you place another down. So when you have this number counting, it increases the amount of bones that you find. So that is how one way you can scale the number of bones. So you want to find a way to maximize this number at the top of the Gravestone. There are a few ways to do that. We'll talk about that in just a second, but that's essentially the mechanic. You want this number to be big, you'll get a lot more bones. This number is live updated in the Grimoire. You can see this number keep increasing. That's because I'm killing more Hordes. Hordes are how you increase this Gravestone number. So every Horde you kill, as in the whole pack of monsters that have the Gravestone icon above their head, are Hordes. And then when you kill them, they respawn, and they will increase that bone respawn. Also, while this Gravestone's active, the mob respawn is 460% faster. So that's pretty insane. Potential application for that, I don't know. We have to explore. It's a little too early to tell. But yeah, that's the Gravestone mechanic. Very basic overview. That's it. Let's go back a little bit to Sentinel Axes. This basically makes it so whenever you attack, you throw out this axe, the axe roll. Throws it out. Really nice. I don't recommend putting too many points into this. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. This next one called Detonation. Detonation is whenever you kill a Horde, again, a Horde, not regular monsters, you kill those special Gravestone monsters, there is a chance that your combustion explosion will go off, and it increases the combustion range. So, going back to what I was saying earlier, you see how the monsters are exploding? That's the combustion ability. This one right here, which is from Blood Berserker. This one. If you're inflamed, you set off a combustion explosion, which deals % damage to mobs near you, and this scales to the talent level. So first of all, you need to be inflamed for combustion to work. And if you aren't inflamed, this explosion will not work either. Cool. The other next 3 abilities are buffs to Wraith form. So this increases Marauder style will increase Wraith damage and accuracy per 100 Grimoire total upgrades. So every level you have of this here will increase your damage and accuracy. It's really good. Defense and HP per 100. It's basically this, which is defense HP. And this third one is really interesting. I got a lot of questions about why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's because of this talent. It is Wraith form crit chance and Wraith form crit damage per power of 10 fishing efficiency. So you may have wondered at the intro why the hell I am wearing skill efficiency gear and fish efficiency gear and golden ribs specifically. It is because of this talent. It is accounting for almost half of my crit chance as a Wraith in Wraith form. And you really should aim for trying to get as much fishing efficiency as you possibly can because of this node. Incredibly important. So yeah, that applies to card sets as well. That applies to your skill set, your card set there as well. Really important you stack as much skill efficiency as you possibly can. So moving on. The other ones, this is base strength. This actually scales pretty high, but I wouldn't recommend putting points into it. The next one is ribbons. We'll talk about ribbons in a second, how to get them and what they do. But there's a chance you get an extra ribbon every single day, and this applies to all characters. I don't have this spec'd in. I'll get into why in just a second. The next few are farming specific. This one, Mass Irrigation, gives you crop evo chance. It also makes your insta-grows give more growth for your crops, which is insanely powerful. It also, quote, grows all crops above and below. That's insane, first of all. That, like, it really good. Yeah. Agricultural Appreciation, Farming EXP, and Land Rank EXP. Works on all characters. Yeah, it's just a global buff. You should definitely try to, in your second talent spec, try to put points into this if you only have one Deathbringer. If you have two, we'll talk about what to do with that. The next one is Dank Ranks. This gives a multiplier to land rank database bonus. I've heard this is bugged. I haven't tested it myself, so I don't know. This might or might not work. But in principle, this is really powerful and really insane because it gives you crop value for basically nothing. It gives you crop evolution chance. It gives you farming EXP, all that fun stuff. The next one is damage multi. This is not total damage. This is percent damage multi, similar to the Emperor card, for characters per power of 10 Wraith bones collected. So it requires you to actually go out and collect bones. And the last one is Apocalypse Wow. Apocalypse Wow is basically Super Chow, Super Zhao, or Zhao's Chows, Super Chows, just instead of million, 100,000, it's 1 billion kills. Keep in mind, this only works on your second Deathbringer if you have two. So if you go on your first Deathbringer and you try to do Apocalypse Wows, it will not work for you. So don't kill a billion monsters on DB number 1, kill them on DB number 2. If you only have one, disregard that device. It only applies to one, don't worry. Cool. Okay. Whew. Talking about talents. Why have I talented spec points into this weirdly? Well, number one, Wraith form doesn't really scale. If you upgrade it, like, it doesn't increase the duration. It's a permanent toggle. So putting 1 point in this, like I have, again, I have 94 minimum talent levels. That's why it's 95. 1 point plus 94 is 95. So I only have one actual talent point in this, and it's giving it Wraith form. So I just toggle it on and off. That's all it does. Leveling it up is how you get more Wraith damage. So there is a point to level it. I will eventually level it. However, as you can see, I have 0 points here. I have no talent points. Fun fact, Deathbringer does not scale off Buff Boy talent. I spent 50 atoms in this to test it just to make sure. Buff Boy talent does not give you Deathbringer points. Lava confirmed this in a stream. It is not a bug. It is a feature. So how do you get talent points? Merit Shop is number one. You get talent points here. And the other way is leveling your character. You get 3 talent points per level. And you get, I think, 5 or something per Merit Shop point. That's the only way you can get talent points for Deathbringer. So you're very limited and starved for talent points. So 1 point into Wraith form. That's why I recommend that. I wouldn't put all your points into Grimoire just yet. I put 1 point here to at least unlock the interface so you can actually level up your Wraith form. It's really important to do that. I would also only put 1 point to Sentinel Axes. Because it's 100% proc chance and it throws an axe every single throw, you don't really need it to hit more mobs or do more damage. The next one, Graveyard Shift. Max this out. This is your biggest source of bone percent, and you need this maxed out so this bone percent number found per number increases. This 1.99. This would not be 1.99 if I didn't max this out. Okay. Detonation. Don't max this out. The highest level you want this with minimum talent levels is 298. At 298, it will give you a 100% chance to trigger the combustion. So don't level it past 299 or 298. That's the cap. For these next 3 talents, I'd recommend spending your points kind of equally among them. Obviously, try to use books on all the ones I mentioned already, and just try to split them. Okay, cool. Now let's talk about the rest of the talents. So because I had 2 Blood Berserkers, I now have 2 Deathbringers. So I'm using my second, or rather my first, I mean, I guess, as a mule for farming and the damage multi and the Apocalypse WoW. Since I have two, I don't need to farm actively on the first one to catch up to where the second one is. It's global across Deathbringer, so I don't need to separately farm bones for this damage multi or for the upgrades in the Grimoire. It strictly applies to Deathbringers globally across your account. They share bones, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I have the farming and all that stuff maxed out on that one, including the Apocalypse WoW. Yeah. So that's the overview of the talents. Now, the only thing I didn't touch is Ribbon, which actually I want to double check I have spec'd into on this guy, and I do. Perfect. Actually, I might use a book on that. Bear with me. Unplanned. What do I want to do here? You know, let's go with farming XP. Why not? Okay, back to my regular scheduled programming. So, ribbons. What are ribbons? Ribbons you cannot acquire from killing monsters. They come from daily resets. So at your daily timer that you see in your guild, you go to go to GP list. You see the daily, it resets here in 3 hours. I will get ribbons. Ribbons are deposited in the ribbon shelf, which appears in the menu for cooking in World 4. So what ribbons do, you drag a ribbon onto a meal, you apply it permanently. What it does is it gives you a meal bonus. It gives you a multiplier to the meal bonus. So this fortune cookie is getting a 2.62 times multiplier. That is insanely powerful. And I would highly, highly recommend your first ribbon that you get your highest level ribbon and put it on gold food bonus. Incredibly important. Gold food's incredibly important, specifically for skill efficiency. Like I mentioned, fishing efficiency is really important for Wraith form. So the more fishing efficiency you have, the better your character is going to progress. Hence why you should do gold food bonus, because it gives you skill efficiency. Secondly, skill efficiency, obviously coming next, is going to be really important for you to do. Whipped cocoa, I got a ribbon on here, and that's how you do it. I also got faster library checkout speeds, so I can obviously get 299 books on my Deathbringer on most of his talents as soon as I possibly can. Not that I can use all the talent points, but I do intend on trying to level up my Deathbringer. Speaking of which, I am actually going to stick this guy on Samurai Guardians to level him up. So yeah, I'll reset his cards in a second. But I want more levels. I want more talent points essentially. Cool, so that's ribbons. You can combine ribbons of the same level. 2 level 1 ribbons will make a level 2 ribbon. You cannot take ribbons off of the meals once you placed it. Like I'm trying to drag it off, it doesn't do anything. You can examine it, but you can't de-ribbon your meals. If I have another rank 12 ribbon, I can drag it on here. This will rank up the ribbon to a rank 13 ribbon. So that's how you do it. Ribbons go up to rank 20. There is a rank 21 ribbon, but it actually bricks your meal and you lose the meal bonus and you don't get anything from it. So don't do that. Rank 20 ribbon is the highest level ribbon you can possibly go, and it caps out at 5x meal bonus. So that is insanely powerful. If you are starting out cooking, I would still recommend getting all gold food bonus and then putting your ribbon on like burned marshmallow or something to get you a lot of meal cooking speed, and that'll help you with cooking a little bit. And then maybe some crop evo chance because lava added 50 more crops and farming. And so that's, yeah, we have more grinding and farming to do. That's a lot of fun. I'll get to this eventually. Don't worry. Yeah. So that's the ribbon mechanic he introduced. Additionally, he also added another crop scientist pencil in the Jade Emporium. It is the most recent upgrade. I can't buy any of this, but it's the science highlighter. It gives you drop rate per crop found after 100. So a bunch of drop rate there. Really powerful. Really, really powerful. If you didn't have any reason to do farming before, now you do. Because I have 124% drop rate. And this gets scaled later by another bonus you'll see in the Grimoire, which I don't have yet, which some people do. But yeah, the Grimoire does have some account-wide bonuses that are really good. Number 1, higher bonuses from tomes. This will give you more drop rate. This will give you more skill efficiency. There's also crop evo chance, helps farming a little bit. There's opals for villagers in World 5. There's the max level for land rank upgrades in the 5th column, which applies to these ones right here. So more stealth percent, which I can actually upgrade right here. More total damage for your character. More all stat, which I'm doing. 40% all stats, like insane. And this isn't even maxed out. This goes up to level 10. That's wicked, bro. Never thought I'd say that in a video before, but there you go. Anyways, yeah, it's really cracked, really insane, bros. But yeah, okay. Now that we have kind of like the general update, let's talk about strategy. So when you first start off, you will have 10 HP and like no damage. So what do? One thing that you'll probably notice immediately is that your gear does literally nothing for you. Kind of. The only thing it really gives you is all stat percent if you have Marble gear, and you'll see my fishing efficiency goes down as a result of me taking off gear. That's because stats increase your fishing efficiency. So it's important you have like all stat gear, for example, but I would recommend fishing efficiency because, as I mentioned before, fishing efficiency is really important for crit chance and crit damage. But your goal is to at least kill a few Gmush with in Wraith form, collect some bones, upgrade your Grimoire, upgrade the base damage, get some accuracy and some defense. Your goal is to reach enough accuracy to kill sticks. You see it requires 225 accuracy. You'd be fine surviving at like 180 accuracy. Try to get some defense to combat their 20 damage and try to get like at least 100 to 500 damage to kill them within a few hits. But there is some strategy here. I'll pop down this gravestone. You'll notice it adds some things to the map. It adds these like gravestones at the bottom here. So where you see gravestones are where the horde monsters can spawn. If there's not a gravestone there, they cannot spawn on that platform. So what does that mean for you? If you go to the sticks map, you'll notice these gravestones are here, 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 and here on this platform. This is where they'll spawn. This is where all the horde monsters can spawn. So what you can do is you can kind of force the gravestone to spawn in specific areas. If you go to the the roots map, and then go up through the roots map into the sticks map, you'll see the sticks. The gravestone will spawn at the very bottom, and the gravestones will stick to these bottom like 3 platforms here. This is the ideal setup for early game bone farming, and the tier 1 bones at least. Once you unlock the Grimoire upgrade for the tier 2 bones, you can get those at the Nuttos. Same logic would apply. You want to manipulate the gravestone to spawn in your favor, to be like really compact, really close together to some of the mob spawns and wouldn't trail you off from the horde. Basically, you want to kill as many hordes as possible to stack up the bone percent. So you would go up through the sticks portal into the Nuttos map, and you'll see the same logic applies down here. Like I kill them, this will... If I were to stay here for for a long period of time, I can probably stack up this gravestone to like 200, which is a 400% increase in bone percent. Like I said, it's your biggest multiplier. You want to min-max the grave as much as possible. So that's how you have to do it. You have to min-max the gravestone a little bit. Their positioning has to be favorable to you. So the first like big farming spot for Deathbringers is going to be sticks, specifically going from the roots into the sticks map. And then for the tier 2, like ribcage is what we're calling it, you have to go from the stick map into the Nutto maps. Cool. Where do you go from there? After that, I highly recommend farming sticks until you can kill sheepies. Yeah, skipping World 2 entirely and going to sheepy. So you would go from the World 3 map into sheepies. I found this to be better. I find it going from Frostflakes down into sheepies was worse because it spawns on that top portal and it basically adds more platforms for your character to manage, which isn't really fun. This is for bones. So this is for the tier 1 bone structure. You still want to farm these so you can upgrade it. Secondly, for the ribcage, I recommend Frostflakes. I would go from Surstash into Frostflakes and sit here and farm for a little bit. It turns out this gravestone is really good if it's spawned over here or on top. If it spawns in these bottom platforms, I find it sometimes drop gravestones at the bottom, which isn't useful because obviously it creates more platforms for you to fight and kill monsters out of. The next big breakpoint, I guess, would be Quenchies. Going from Cryo Snakes into the Quenchies map to spawn the gravestone up here is what I found to be best. I still have some accuracy issues because I don't have enough accuracy yet for Quenchies. And this is basically the cap of where I'm at right now. A lot of people are kind of stuck in World 3, trying to farm enough of the bones to be able to progress past World 3 and into the other worlds. But this is essentially the kind of logic you want to keep going into for the rest of the worlds. For example, if I were to eventually get into World 5, my immediate thought process went to Citringes. Not right here. This is awful, awful placement, but going from the Lampars into the citringes, that's much better graveyard placement. And now I can stick to this bottom platform and just explode everything. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking at. Try to, as you progress, think about the gravestone placement and how you can min-max that. As I mentioned way earlier in the video, gravestone, the number on top is incredibly important to get you bones, and it's your biggest scaler for bone percent. So absolutely try it and take the time to min-max it is my highest recommendation I can possibly give anyone. So yeah, that's a quick overview and early game strats as it comes to Deathbringer. It is a really good class. I have a lot of fun with it. Me just blowing up screens, it gives me big dopamine hits, and I love it. And I can't wait to see what the other master classes bring. Even if they introduce other rebirth mechanics, I hope it's done well. And I kind of am really excited for it, honestly. This is gonna, so far it's introduced some pretty good bonuses. Like I mentioned with the stealth percent, the all stat percent, all that stuff gets scaled really high. So I can't wait for the other bonuses to come out that I have yet to unlock and I've seen spoilers for. So good luck. Hope you guys get good ribbons. Hope you guys get good progress, and see you guys in World 4 hopefully soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.